Difficult for me because I couldn't see what was happening until you pressed the play button and you saw that it didn't work what you had in mind, and you had to figure out what went wrong.
This is technology is quite complex, and it's always a way to find short paths to use technology in your own way.
We took a fire alarm apart to see how it works, just feel it a bit, and cutting the wires, which we shouldn't have in the first place. So after a lot of smoking and near cancer, we got the thing to work. A lot of fire alarms were damaged to this.
Light go as soon as there is a connection.
Yep, works now.
Okay.
So the
It
light
takes a while to register.
Also very practical to think on a certain moment, I need this because I want to tell it with that. But if I don't need it, I must be able to say, okay, this is not the solution, I have to find a different solution. And probably in the end it's even better.
So the sound file is an explosion, and the microphone picks up the sound of the explosion when it goes over a certain decibel and maintains that for a certain period of time. It then triggers this car to hit the little blue car. The little blue car then goes down the ramp, knocks out the stop sign, which then drops the weight. The weight then pulls this out here. This container here is filled with smoke from the incense. The smoke then goes up through the pipe, and then it sets off a fire alarm here, but there is no sound, it just triggers a green light.
I always see myself as an artist and researcher in also technology parts, and for me, my way of working with technology in an artistic way, it's always also the part trying to understand the parts, not directly trying to understand it in a scientific way. So if I don't need to know how things are in detail working, but I need to know how things reacting on each other.
You have to see it pure as a tool and see yourself as creator and not the computer.
My art develops through the research with technology into understanding what is possible and what I can say with it. This workshop now is concentrating more on a playful way of working with technology and playing with it. But if you do it in an outer world, you want to show it to people, you always should think everything you use has meaning. So if we use a gun, and if you use certain things, everything tells something. If you use computers that are standing here around, it always tells something, how we think about it and how they work together.
The narrative and the interactive, that's a very difficult to understand how they connect to each other, and how we can create these stories and tell them in virtual world and tell them.
The group coming after us, they already used a little bowl to make their thing working. So they saw our animation and were like, wow, yes, we can use that. It is your head, so we're going to create this little head. And so these 3 computers were like their own story, and there were 4 computers afterwards that had nothing to do with the whole story. It was like a little chapter.
Green light is seen by the camera. The computer registers the green light and turns on this little motor right here. This little motor is connected to a string that goes behind here and bolts onto this pin. This pin gets pulled out, making these little things of oil fall over, and oil runs down the track into this bucket right here. The bucket gets heavier and heavier and starts pulling this rope. The rope pulls the hammer back, and at the same time it starts getting cut by this razor. And at a certain point, the string is cut by the razor, and the hammer goes forward again, hits the computer. The computer goes down, and this finger right here presses the off button, and the screen is turned off.
I knew it was very ambitious, and I was quite surprised about this fantasy. They directly had what kind of dreams they had about what can trigger something else. And
The most interesting I found the metronome. They want to use that as an input, only they choose not to count the ticks. Now they use the webcam to read that into the movement of the metronome.
But how do we visualize the computer looking? How do you know the computer is actually looking? So if you have Max MSP looking at, I don't know, contrast ratios or pixel RGB values, that's one thing, that's the technical side of it. But maybe the eye of the computer watching the ball going into A or B, the interface for showing that to the people who watch can actually look a lot different.
There were quite a few groups that tried things with motion tracking. There were quite groups that even analyzed sound better than I ever did.
But like the new things that are happening right now, people are experimenting with things like cameras and all these little hardware, and it makes it really exciting. It's a very exciting combination, the hardware and this old theater.
I really wanted them to show the knowledge I have with software and what you can create an interaction. A lot of parts didn't work, so I was very curious about what can be done in the last hours, and I think we were very happily, and it was very nice that we had the luck and the confidence by all these things that came together, that in the time when the audience were in there, the chain reaction worked from A to the end, and I think in this way that was very nice.
Go take a walk.
Yeah!